check it out, shoot a visual. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. You feel me?
Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about your incarceration and the lead up to that, like that. I don't know how an investigation. Did they do an investigation or what?
Right.
How did it work?
Man, I really to be honest, I was just really being profiled. But at the same time, I think niggas was telling. It was niggas telling that shit. Probably niggas that was hanging same niggas I was putting up around. Seeing how I was moving, briefing. I had this one officer, he was on my, trail real bad. And he had it out for me. And you know how that goes. Eventually I ended up getting fucked up and I did 6 years at the road.
What was your charges you actually got incarcerated for?
I was convicted of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Twice.
And you did 6 years, almost 7?
Yeah, I did 6 mandatory. I did 36 for one and 36 for the other.
Okay. Now let's talk about this time in incarceration. Was this your first big, long stint, multiple years?
Yeah, this was the longest bid I had did. I had did a bid before, but that was the longest bid I had done. Straight.
And during this time, your mindset, cause you was just kind of riding high, was you low? Was you feeling down on yourself just from?
I mean, listen, I was never riding high. To the people, it may look like we was riding high, but put it like this: a lot of people that you see look like they're doing good, look like they happy. Them be the most hurt people, them be the most scarred people, hurt people. So really, when I was looking good, I really was hurting because you had to think, I was already fighting my case, so I could never really enjoy nothing I was doing, knowing in the back of my mind that
okay, well, how long were you fighting the case before you actually got incarcerated?
2 years, a year and some change.
Oh, okay. So the people didn't really know, you shooting videos still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why people ain't know. I just woke up and went to court one day and got 6. And you know what I'm saying? It was like that.
Wow. Okay, so during your time, how was your support system out? Did you have people, sending you money, your family and stuff? Was people looking out for you?
I created a support system. I had a few people, my mama, shout out Della, Della real, really mama in the world. But anyway, I had, I had my mama, I had a homie, he did what he's supposed to do,
Right.
Shout out to him too.
Okay. So how was your time in there? Was it smooth sailing? Was it a rocky road?
I did real time. See, cause I was at compounds where we was doing real time. What I mean by that is the compound wasn't swinging, wasn't no phones, wasn't no dope. You know what I'm saying? So niggas was doing hard time. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing to do to occupy your time. And niggas was selling dope and selling phones, selling knives to occupy their time. So with that, I was doing hard time.
So, I mean, did you get any altercations in there? A bunch of altercations?
I got into altercations, but you know what I'm saying? The altercation was always brought to me. I was never the aggressor. It was always brought to me, but I always handled it accordingly. I always handled it. Anything that was brought to me, I always handled it. Not once, I ain't never back down. You ain't gonna never hear no stories about me. You know what I'm saying? Stay the DLC. I ain't never did no fluff shit, no whole shit.
Okay. And in your time in there, what did you occupy most of your time doing? Was you writing music?
I was writing, I occupied my time with writing, I had some partners, you know what I'm saying? They were heavy into gang shit. So, I had my time. Oh, and then, I had become Muslim. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had become Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about that. How did that transition become about? Did you just wake up one day or did somebody bring it to you?
No, I had been on the compound, I was in YMCA. I had been on the compound for 4 years. But while I was there, I was doing time. One of my partners who had caught a 20-year bid some time before, I had failed. And the nigga was like a madman out this bitch. That nigga was beating hoes, that nigga was drinking. Anyway, make a long story short, this nigga was a Muslim down the road, you know what I'm saying? And for some reason, since I've been on the compound, I always end up in his dorm. And while I was in the dorm with him, I used to watch that nigga and shit, man, look at Ski over that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I used to see it, that nigga was like, that nigga was faking or some shit. But that nigga was dedicated, and that nigga
was serious.
He was doing that shit for real, and I see what the religion had did for him, and it changed him so much that I started going to his bunk and I started getting literature. I started getting books and I started reading for myself. And I said, after a time, it didn't hit me just then. I think I ended up going to jail. You know, in prison you go to jail, so I had went to confinement. I ended up going to the box, and I got out the box, and they put me back in the same dorm. And I just kept getting literature. And then one day I told him I was ready to take my Shahada. You know, Shahada is, you know what I'm saying, your commitment to Islam. And I had took my Shahada. I told him, I went by his bunk and I told him I was ready. Not to mention, he never pressured me about becoming a Muslim. He just always lived it.
I was going to ask you that.
So, like I said, you know, so I was interested. And then when I was time I took my Shahada, you know what I'm saying, which was like 4 years ago. Ever since then, you know what I'm saying, I've been dealing.